Hey warriors, if I could watch your reactions for just 10 minutes, your face, your tone, your timing, I could predict your decisions. And if I can predict you, I can control you. That's the rule nobody tells you. Control does not begin with authority. It begins with emotional predictability. Most people think power is about status, money, or position. Wrong. Real power starts where emotional reaction ends. Look around you. The people who get pushed, pressured, and played are not always the weakest. They are the most emotionally transparent. They show everything. They react instantly. They reveal intention before action. They speak before thinking. They explain before being asked. And without realizing it, they hand over their psychological leverage, not because they are foolish, but because they are unguarded. Machiavellian psychology is not about cruelty. It is about clarity. It starts with one uncomfortable truth. Human behavior follows advantage. People test boundaries. They measure resistance. They study response patterns. The one who reacts fastest usually loses control first. The one who stays composed controls the tempo, and the tempo controls the outcome. When your reactions are slow, measured, and selective, pressure stops working on you. Provocation loses its grip. Emotional traps fail. There is a reason the most dangerous strategist is rarely the loudest voice. Silence hides intention. Calmness hides strength. Emotional control hides capability. When people cannot read your internal state, they hesitate. When they cannot predict your reaction, they cannot design your pressure points. Mystery is not a personality trait. It is a defensive shield in power dynamics. In this video, you will learn how to remove your emotional handles, how to stop rewarding manipulation with reaction, how to become less predictable without becoming distant, and how to build a calm, controlled presence that makes others think twice before trying to move you. This is about psychological armor, behavioral discipline, strategic self-control, the kind that makes you hard to pressure, hard to bait, and hard to influence. Most people never train this skill, which is exactly why it works. Before we begin, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I control my reactions. Number 1. Why you keep getting hurt. You don't keep getting hurt because others are powerful. You keep getting hurt because your emotional signals are visible and easy to read. When your inner state is exposed, your behavior becomes predictable, and when your behavior is predictable, your direction can be steered. Control rarely starts with force. It starts with pattern recognition. Someone studies how you react under stress, under praise, under challenge, and once your pattern is clear, influence becomes easy. Most people reveal themselves too quickly. A small accusation makes them defend. A small delay makes them anxious. A small compliment makes them cooperative. These responses feel natural, but in power dynamics, automatic responses are openings. The observer does not need to argue with you. They only need to trigger you. Once triggered, you start making decisions emotionally instead of strategically. That is where damage begins. Manipulators are patient readers of behavior. They test with small moves first, a dismissive tone, a delayed reply, a mild contradiction, not to fight, but to measure. If you rush to justify, they learn you fear misunderstanding. If you push back loudly, they learn you are ego-sensitive. If you try to please, they learn you want acceptance. Every uncontrolled response becomes behavioral data. Data becomes leverage. Over-explaining is one of the biggest silent weaknesses. When you explain beyond what is asked, you expose motive and insecurity at the same time. You try to sound clear, but you end up sounding unsure. Strategic communicators say less than they know, not more than they feel. Brevity protects position. Excess speech exposes it. Pressure should reduce your words, not multiply them. Machiavelli once said, "Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception." The deeper lesson here is awareness. Influence works best when the target does not notice the method. Emotional triggering is a form of soft deception. It feels like a normal moment, but it is actually a test. If your emotions answer every test, you fail without seeing the exam. Speed is another vulnerability. Instant replies feel confident, yet they are often impulse. Impulse can be provoked on demand. A measured pause, however, breaks the control attempt. Silence creates uncertainty on the other side. Uncertainty removes their accuracy. When they cannot read your internal shift, they cannot adjust their tactic. Emotional discipline is not emotional absence. You still feel, but you decide when and how feeling becomes action. That decision point is where psychological strength lives. When your reactions become intentional instead of automatic, attempts to push you start missing their target. From now on, treat your responses like controlled releases, not reflex outputs. Composure is protection. Measured behavior is armor. Predictability is risk. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My reactions are chosen. Number 2. Understanding human nature. If you misunderstand human nature, you will misread behavior, and when you misread behavior, you make wrong moves at the wrong time. Many people walk through social and professional environments with a fantasy model in their head. They assume fairness, loyalty, and intention come first. In reality, advantage, timing, and self-interest usually come first. This is not cynicism. This is operational awareness. When you see people as they are, not as you wish them to be, your judgment becomes sharper and your positioning becomes stronger. Most individuals act according to perceived benefit. Support increases when incentives align. Distance appears when value drops. This pattern is ancient and consistent. It does not make people evil. It makes them predictable at a structural level. The mistake is expecting permanent loyalty from temporary alignment. When you expect constancy without incentive, disappointment becomes guaranteed. Strategic thinkers track behavior trends, not verbal promises. Language is cheap. Action is expensive. That is why action reveals truth faster than speech. Anyone can declare respect, commitment, or agreement. Very few will demonstrate it when cost appears. Watch what people do when there is risk, delay, or inconvenience. That moment exposes priority order. A person's real hierarchy is visible only when something must be sacrificed. Until then, words are performance, not proof. Observation must replace assumption. Instead of reacting emotionally to what is said, analyze what is repeated. Patterns matter more than moments. One dramatic gesture means little. Repeated behavior means everything. Professionals in intelligence and negotiation study baselines, normal behavior patterns, before judging anomalies. You should do the same. When you know someone's baseline conduct, deviations become signals instead of surprises. Machiavelli once said, "Men are quicker to forget the death of their father than the loss of their property." The message is not about cruelty, it is about priority. Material and personal advantage often outweigh emotional narrative. When resources, status, or security are involved, behavior changes fast. If you ignore this reality,